Five Nights at Freddy's. Is this where we wanna be? I just don't get it. Why do you wanna stay? Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's. What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And if you couldn't tell from that cringy ass intro, we're taking a look at Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie. Me and my girlfriend sat down and watched it last night. We cuddled up on the sofa, not the sofa, on the bed, sorry, and watched this movie. And I was so hyped. I was so excited. I'm a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, more so the lore than the games themselves, as you've seen from my game reviews. I much prefer Sister Location and Security Breach, as they are a lot more, like, gameplay based rather than just point and click. So, I was really excited to get some more lore-heavy stuff, and boy was I disappointed. So, let's get into it. A troubled security guard begins working at Freddys Fazbear's Pizzeria, where spending his first night on the job, he realizes the late shift at Freddy's won't be so easy to make it through. That is a lie. That synopsis is wrong. The first night was easy as fuck, and he didn't have any suspicion. But, so let's get into the actual plot of the story. So it starts off with Mike Schmidt, and his family on holiday in a caravan, and his brother gets kidnapped by this green guy in a green car. We then jump to the present, look at the future, and it's pretty much just a security guard working at Freddy's, locking himself in the security guard box in his office. Someone's banging on the door. He gets through the vents. He rushes through. He tries to escape, the door's locked, and you hear Foxy go dum 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 dum, and then speeds towards him. He then wakes up in like a spring lock thing, and he gets shoved in a suit. We then move back to Mike Schmidt, now as an adult, at his first job, and we see him run after a father who's shouting at a child and dragging him around, and beat him senseless in a fountain. This is how he loses his first security job. Obviously, he did that due to the fact that he has PTSD of his brother being kidnapped. And then we then move to him in an office. He got no prison charge for that. He is in Matthew Lillard's office, who plays a sort of job guy who helps him out, gives him a job. He offers him the night shift at Freddy's. He declines. He goes home. Actually, he doesn't go home. He goes to Abby's daycare school. I don't have a clue how old Abby is, but her daycare/school. And his aunt is there, and his aunt wants to take Abby off his hands. He says no. The school worker doesn't want Abby to go with the aunt. The lawyer's there, and then Mike goes home to Abby. Abby doesn't respond. His cousin Max is babysitting, and Abby's this weird kid who just sits and draws all day with her imaginary friends. Mike has a struggle to connect with her. We then go to Mike having this sudden realization that, Abby is, Abby's world is him. Abby only cares about him, she looks up to him as like a big brother. She respects him. She loves him. And then he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'll take this job at Freddy's. He goes there, and he falls asleep on the first night shift. We get this dream sequence of his dream again with his brother Garrett being stolen, but this time there's kids there, and he tries to chase Freddy down, or the child that's called Freddy, in the Freddy suit, and he doesn't get it. He wakes up and he goes home. He goes home to Abby and Max. His aunt is then having a meeting in a diner, and Matt Pat from Game Theory, that's just a theory, is there, as the server, as like a little cameo. We then have the lawyer there, who should be hearing their plan to sort of sabotage Mike. They go and sabotage Mike, and then we have a really cool sequence of Bonnie, Chica, Cupcake absolutely fucking killing it, slaying the people who enter the pizzeria. And then we also have the bite of 87, or the bite of the 2000s, where Max gets chomped in half because her aunt ropes her into it. The aunt doesn't really seem to care that they've gone missing or don't come back because they've already smashed a joint. That's all they needed to do. Mike then gets a call from Vanessa, who comes over to his house and is like, hey, you didn't lock up last night, what the fuck? Um, he then goes for his second night, and Foxy scratches his arm. Vanessa shows up again, walks him round, shows him the ropes, talks to him about the place. Don't worry, I'm still going. We then move over to night 3, and obviously we don't know where Abby is. Abby isn't there. We don't know where Max is. Sorry, the babysitter. Max isn't around because she's been killed. So Mike takes his little sister to Freddy Fazbear's. Vanessa's there. Nope, Vanessa's not there this night. And she's supposed to go to sleep in this little tent thing. He has the dream again, and he gets woken up by Abby screaming because the animatronics come to life and tickle her because they want to befriend her. They want to be friends with her. They want to be nice. Which is shocking. It was strange to see. Mike's like, no, fuck this, let's go home. He talks to Abby, and she's like, yeah, they're ghosts. How else would they control the animatronics? They're all completely fine with them being ghosts. So night 4, they go back, and Vanessa's there. They have a slumber party. They're all happy and all great. Vanessa threatens Mike, saying, don't you dare bring Abby back here. What the fuck? Vanessa's dropping law hints here, there, and everywhere, saying, yo, this place is dangerous. There's spring lock traps and everything like that. We then push forward to Mike giving up his little sister to his aunt, and then he goes to work on the 5th night, the final night, who then gets attacked by Foxy, and that's pretty much it. He gets attacked by Foxy and put in the spring lock chair after having a dream sequence of giving up Abby to the children to get his little brother Garrett back. He realizes his mistake. He wakes up. Foxy starts chasing him. He gets dummed. Vanessa saves him. He wakes up with bandages around him. Golden Freddy shows up at Abby's house, kills the aunt, takes Abby to Freddy's through a taxi. Then we have them arrive at Freddy's. Vanessa's like, yo, no, I can't go with you. He gives a picture, and he's like, yo, look at this. This is the guy you're after. This is the guy who took Garrett. It's my dad. And they have a bit of a falling out because, like, hey, why didn't you tell me this sooner? What the fuck? He then goes to Freddy's to rescue Abby. Chica is putting Abby in the springlock suit, and he saves him. She runs away being chased by Foxy, but then Mike gets attacked by William Afton in the Springtrap costume, which hasn't spring-locked yet, and he has a knife. He's being all creepy crazy. Then we have Vanessa show up and kick ass against the dad. She shoots him. She gets stabbed by William Afton. Then Mike wakes up and is like, hey, use the pictures. So Abby draws a picture of William Afton killing the kids. The kids in the animatronics are like, huh, he's not our friend. And then they go and absolutely kill him. Cupcake bites him, activates a spring lock. It clamps shut. They take him to a back room, and the ghost child in Freddy just watches him in suffering and pain, while Vanessa, Mike, and Abby leave. Vanessa then gets put in hospital. Abby and Mike go visit Vanessa in hospital, and Abby's now got some real friends at school, but she feels bad for the ghost friends that she had at Freddy Pizzeria because they're all alone and no one goes to check up on them. And that's the story. They have watered down the Five Nights at Freddy's story, and they've made it their whole other sort of world. So there's 3 different timelines in Five Nights at Freddy's. There's the game timeline, there's the book timeline, and the film timeline. Because the film timeline mixes up the families, whereas Vanessa should have been influenced by William Afton, or Glitch Trap, Spring Trap, through the visors to become Vanny in Security Breach, but now she's in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, which isn't set in the 1990s, it's set in the 2000s, where Mike Smith loses his brother, Garrett, who isn't. You know, Mike's dad should have been William, but it isn't. That's Vanessa's dad now. Mike has a sister, which should be Baby, but isn't. It's now Abby. And he should have the crying child as his other brother, which he wore the Foxy mask with to sort of make the bite of 87 or whatever age bite it was with Golden Freddy. So this is its own unique timeline, and I was trying to explain the lore to my girlfriend whilst we were watching this, but they completely fucked it and swapped it around, so I had no clue what was going on, and I was so confused. And for a horror movie, it wasn't even scary. I got scared by Foxy once because he sort of like sped towards me, and I'm like, oh shit. Fox, it's just fight or flight instinct, you know? Like, Foxy always scares the shit out of me. He is my favorite. I love Foxy. I love foxes. If you're a fan of the channel for a while, you will know that. But he's just so cool, and he's the scariest one from the first game. And he was the only jump scare I got was by Foxy. So I'm very happy with that. And it was only once during the full film. And normally horror films scare the absolute shit out of me. This didn't. This was like, meh, okay, this is just an interesting story. They watered the story down so much. They had Vanessa in the game when she should have been in Security Breach, but she isn't. She's here. And she's here? Why is she here? All she did was just cause extra confusion, and she was just acting so weird throughout the film, which again is understandable, because her dad is William, and she was tasked by William to sort of keep Mike in the dark about the animatronics, but keep him on board, if that makes sense. Because William had a plan for him. This is really confusing. I don't know why he took Garrett. Garrett is nowhere to be seen. He does remember killing Garrett, and Vanessa did get Garrett's plane, which was like a big trigger for him. And all of it was just, the story was confusing. The jump scares weren't that scary. For it being called Five Nights at Freddy's, Freddy, he barely did anything. The two main stars were Chica and Bonnie, and Foxy being third. Cupcake being the main killer. Cupcake absolutely fucking slaughtered. The rest of them didn't really do much. The scenes where the animatronics were moving around and killing, they were the best scenes. They were cool. They were interesting. They were very smart with it, and it was very eerie and creepy, but not scary. It was just sort of like off-putting, if that makes sense. It's just, for the whole lore and story of Five Nights at Freddy's, they tried to appeal to everyone and mix all the games together, and I don't think that really worked well. Actors, incredible. We have Matthew Lillard, we have the guy from the Hunger Games, those are the only two people I know. And they're incredible actors and they do so well. I just think they could have done more with Matthew Lillard. He did play like the first Scream villain in Scream 1. He was the original Ghostface. So I do believe they could have done a lot more, and I was getting heavy Ghostface vibes in the final fight against Springtrap, William Afton. And they did use a couple of lines from the books, which I haven't read. The books aren't canon to the games, so they're intertwining between each other. But they're running at like 3 separate parallel universes. Maybe we'll have a Five Nights at Freddy's Spider-Verse, where the game meets the books meets the film. I don't know. But it wasn't as good as what everyone thought, and I was advocating for it. I was hoping for it to be good. I was sat watching it, looking at all the bad reviews, and I'm like, right, I don't care. That's other people's opinions. I want to watch it and make my own opinion. I want to watch it and see for myself if it's good. I want to know for myself. And when we watched it, me and my girlfriend just looked at each other and we're like, yeah, this is shit. We for a horror movie, the jump scares aren't that good. It's not that scary. So it fails in the horror movie department. It is a 13A. Or a 15, one of the two. So it's not going to be the most scariest thing. But, you know, even kids aren't going to be scared by this. It's just average gore. Not even that at most. But actors are good. The sets are good. The costumes for the animatronics are incredible. And there is a story from when it was being made that Foxy set on fire, which is quite funny. But, yeah, just plot and story-wise and writing-wise, it doesn't do it for me. It's quite weak, and it mixes all the games together. It's hard to follow. You gotta forget all the lore you already know from, like, game theory, and you gotta forget all that lore. Because this is its whole new thing. It's a third version of the FNAF franchise, and it's hard to piece together, and it's confusing, and they just watered down the original story of the kidnapping and the killings. I don't know what to say. Matthew Lillard has already signed a 3-movie deal, so there is going to be 2 more of these things, so I'm hoping for the best. and I'm hoping that the second two are a lot better. We have a lot of confusion as well. Like, Mike can go into this dream world and control himself and basically lucid dream whatever he wants, which is quite interesting. But then we also have Abby, who sees ghosts. Why she sees ghosts isn't explained. We just have to accept that she does. I am going to give this a 6 out of 10. The action was good. The suits were incredible. I really liked how good they looked. They were very game accurate, and you didn't see the people inside wearing them. But it was just the story. It was confusing. It was watered down. It wasn't as good as everyone hyped it up to be, and it wasn't as good as what everyone was expecting from it. From 8 years in the making, with 8 different scripts, I think it's like 13 years and like 8 different scripts and like 3 different sort of production companies picking it up and putting it down. It's not as good as what we all have thought. It was quite disappointing, and it really upset me because I was expecting it to be great. I still love FNAF, but I've watched it once. I probably won't watch this ever again. It's not going to be like a holiday favorite. It is on Peacock for free now, where you can go and watch it. I am going to score it a 6, but other than that, there isn't much else I have to say about it. It's just Five Nights at Freddy's. I liked all the Easter eggs with like Balloon Boy and stuff and all the collaborations, but it wasn't what it was